I will continue with the talent topic from the perspective of specific industry, global business services. And actually, GBS was mentioned today many times. However, since I joined global services, SEB Global Services, I thought it will be easy because it's a finance industry, which I actually working for 18 years already. It was not, because my challenge was to explain to my friends and peers and actually ex-colleagues that it's not only finance, but it's also the second industry, global business services. And I assume that for many of you listeners online, it's also still not clear what this global business services part is about. Because we all know retail, we all know, I don't know, wooden working, metal working, export of goods, but then suddenly this export of services coming into the picture. And then I will spend a few minutes to explain a bit the industry, which was mentioned today a lot. Yes, first of all, we are companies with the foreign capital. So it's usually international companies who are placing here, establishing here the entities and placing here employees with the purpose to help them with certain functions. I will touch upon the functions a bit later. Yes, and our major part of our turnover should be a service expert. So we are obviously exporting the service. And in Latvia, we are 50 companies. We employ around 15,000 employees. And you see on the slide how big our contribution is to Latvian economy or GDP. And actually, it's quite equal to tourism industry, which is well known and one of the focuses of Latvia. I put on the slide a few of the companies of our sector. I hope the rest will not kill me that they are not on the slide. But as I mentioned, it's quite a big pool on our rather small market. And to give you a bit of insight then what our companies are coming from, then our investors, obviously the major part or almost 50% are coming from Scandinavia. Would it be Sweden, Norway, Finland, and so on. And yeah, we have quite companies who are closely working with United States, Germany, and the rest of the Europe. Today's theme of the conference is the Riga's potential to attract investors or investments and the talents. And when I was thinking about this forum, what I can bring, and obviously previous speakers also did a lot of insights. What is our potential and what we can do better. But I would like to touch one topic, which I think the main obstacle for ourselves in Latvia is to attract more of investments or more of the talents, is actually our own doubt. Are we good enough as a country, as a city, as employees? Actually, are we skilled enough? And also, as employers, are our employees good with the good environment and so on? And I liked very much one research, and nations were scored by, always forgot the name, indulgence score. And it was like Latvians are actually have one of the lowest scores on indulgence. So we are rarely enjoy life, and for example, in comparison with Sweden, who has quite a high score, we are much more pessimistic by that score, and usually societies with such a low score tend to be more cynic, and pessimist, as I said. It's not good or bad. We just need to acknowledge that and work on it, and also have such a conferences or forums much more often, just to remind ourselves and speak loudly about great things what we have here, and actually to prove ourselves that we are sharp enough and we are colorful enough, actually, and we have all the potential to do it. I'm not saying that everything is perfect. Definitely we have a lot of to do to be better, and Martin said a lot about that. I don't think I have a lot to add there, but I also put my my list of competitive advantage, or what good we have here. And a lot of those were mentioned, definitely, during the panel and also Martin's, but just a bit of perspective and data what I have from the Global Business Services report annually, what we are doing to have key highlights. So, and I think what hasn't been mentioned today, and I put it as a first in my slide, it's actually our great infrastructure in terms of business standards, what we are applying, and those are EU high standards, and for the businesses, and especially for the business like my company, like banking, right, data protection, cybersecurity standards, and so on, are very important. Employment standards and the laws. Cultural differences, or actually minimal cultural differences, I think were mentioned today, but still I think this is a really value what we have, and our international peers, our colleagues outside Latvia, always stressing this, that it's, guys, pleasure to work with you, to collaborate with you, to have a teamwork. And multi-languages, educated stuff was mentioned already, but just a few facts for you, that actually in our sector, 84% of our employees are with higher education, and actually the rest, almost to the 100%, are first or second year students, so not finished yet. But it's around 90 something overall education score. And about the languages mentioned, that nobody could compete with us. John said, in our industry, it's obviously not just in English, but it's a lot of other languages, Scandinavian languages, Norsk or Swedish, and so on, German. Yeah, 54% speaks in 2+ languages, and around 15 speaks actually 3 and more languages. We also are quite diverse pool, let's say. In all, in general, in industry, it's about 8% of employees coming from other countries. If I take SEB Global Services, we have around like more than 10 actually, and it's really diverse pool. Yeah, it's our neighbor countries, Europe, Asia, United States, and so on. So really international teams. Yes, I was speaking more from employer or from investor perspective, but I also took the perspective from like employees' perspective. Why should I come to Latvia, or what the GBS industry can offer to current Latvian people, let's say. And I put on the slide actually key highlights from our survey, what we did in SEB, and we asked our employees what they valued the most. And I believe that the same or maybe slightly different things would mention any of employee of our industry in any of the companies. That we have, because of this international connection with the mother companies, with the clients across the globe, we have very international culture, which is transparent, flat, let's say management, feedback enabled when everybody feels safe and empowered to take decisions, to take initiatives, and to have a great career opportunities, would it be horizontal or vertical. We have, all of our companies have great programs for employees, and also focusing on learning a lot. And it's not only typical trainings or conferences or programs for employees. We actually focusing very much on the-job training, with the great mentors and tutors, and of course have a support for those mentors and tutors to be great. And which is very important, that we are like, how to say, focusing on employees to understand that it's their own accountability for their development. So it's not a country who should think about you. It's not us. We could give a tools, but it's your own responsibility, and people like it. Inclusive environment, I think already mentioned. Diversity, inclusion is the topic in our companies, and I think we bring this value to our market. Well-being, work-life balance, so it's all in the list, what I didn't put here. And I'm running out of time, sorry for that. Just a few more slides to give you an insight. What is the situation in the sector, and actually sector is stable, and sector is providing high value jobs in the market. And there is sometimes the myth that it's services what such a companies provides are like simple jobs, very transactional jobs, might be call centers. I don't think this is less value-added jobs. Like all jobs are valued, but in this 10-15 years already, for example, Global Services SEB is working for the 15 years on a market. Yes, in the beginning it maybe was the case, because everybody was trying how it will work. But now in all our companies, this is much more complex jobs, starting from IT, obviously, finance, accounting, procurement, logistics, controlling functions like compliance or risk management. So it's all there. And sector is growing, and even though COVID, of course, across the globe made such adjustments, but what we've seen in our sector, its impact was really small, and we continue to grow. And I put a few of the numbers that around 80% of our members still planning to grow, to take over a few more functions and offer the job opportunities here. So, to finish my presentation, I use this quote from Alice in Wonderland very, very often. I like it very much. And what I would like to say with that, dear colleagues, government, state institutions, we do the great job, but as Martin said, we can be more faster, and we have to be more faster and run twice as fast to have a progress. Otherwise, we will not even stay at the same place. We will lose all the achieved so far. Thank you very much for your attention.